It's time for me, Josh's World. Yes, the show where I talk about one of my most favorite subjects ever. It's me, and I'm gonna be honest with you here. I twisted up my ankle pretty good, so I'm in a weird, funky headspace right now. But today's episode is all about dating sites. That's right. The things that you love to hate, where you set up for your profile, hoping to find love and romance, and mostly finding maybe just the opposite. Now, uh, just to be on a full disclosure basis, it may be the idea that I haven't had any kind of oh luck with with these things. I mean, don't get me wrong, I have my fair share of interested parties, but yet if you use the apps, you know how it is. You know what's going on. You know what what you're getting isn't exactly what you're generally looking for. I mean, like for instance, I am not one to shame someone for their weight. I mean, after all, I'm 400 pounds of man, right? You know, it's not exactly something in my best interest to be judgy, if you will. So I don't really factor in much of a physical dealio when I'm looking at people's profiles. Although I think everybody will admit that there is a little bit of math involved when it comes to the appearance of those interested versus the distance that they are away from you. For instance, you could find somebody, absolutely knockout, perfect, and when you find out where they are, or at least where they're listed on the profile, and you see that they're like 5 hours away, you do the arithmetic, and you're like, is it worth the drive? Is it worth me getting into my vehicle, driving for 5 hours one way to be with someone that is absolutely amazing? Maybe. But on the same note, if you see someone that's like maybe doesn't quite tickle your fancy as far as appearance goes, and there's that same 5 hours, I think maybe the decision is a little bit easier where you're like, no, too far away. And you quickly justify the dismissal by saying, no, it's too far away. Let me shut that off. So I'm not tempted to look at the numbers as people start tuning in. So there's that. There are other mitigating circumstances that you may have when you look at somebody's profile. I mean, for instance, I have my own set of rules, so to speak. And I'd like to think that, it's kind of a common sense approach for someone in my situation. I'm a single father. I have 3 children. All of them can be a handful of times, but teens and tweens, right? You got to roll with the punches. Things happen, things change. It's a really interesting time for a kid to be in those years. So I have to take that into consideration. Plus, I of course have an ex-wife. So again, other things have to be taken into consideration when I think about who I would try to bring into my circle, who I would try to add to my life and by de facto my kids' lives. So it's a really interesting balancing act, I'd say. And that's why it's one that I don't enter into lightly. That's why I have these rules in my head. That's why I have, these guidelines that I follow when it comes to, should I swipe left or should I swipe right? First of all, I will make it clear, I don't sign up for like hookup sites, things like that. That's just, I mean, more power to you if that's what you want. If you're just looking to, hook up, it's all good. You're a grown ass person. You should be able to do what you want in that regard. Not for me, but again, if that's what you want, more power to you. I applaud you going after what you want. I'm more of a, want to be comfortable kind of person. For those of you that listen to any Core Studios podcast, one, nerdy, guilty, geek. I watch movies relentlessly. I watch so many movies, listen to podcasts, produce podcasts. I act. In fact, I just got a message that pretty soon the short film that I was in is going to require some reshoots and some pickups, and that's something I have to deal with. So sorry, the message came through. So life can be busy. And I really don't want somebody that's just going to need me. I don't want to be needed. Wanted would be great, but not needed. I don't need somebody hanging around trying to take my time and getting really upset because they're not getting the attention they feel they deserve. Well, I just listed a few things that will definitely have my attention. And again, adding someone to that list is not a problem. But if somebody wants to be numero uno, priority number one, well, I'm sorry, that is just not possible. So what are my rules for, left, right, whatever? Pretty simple, kind of easy at a glance guidelines that make it much easier for me to make a decision about, who I want to, give my you're okay glance to. So first of all, and I hate to say it, I absolutely hate to say it, but it's there. I've had to come up with a no conservatives policy. And I don't mean non-Republican entities. I mean those that are diehard religious party, people. Because that comes straight from the relationship I have with my kids. I'm not going to put out their business here because it's not my place, but there are certain mitigating circumstances that I have to keep in mind when it comes to how they want to live their lives versus how an outside influence wants to tell them how to live their life. I know that's very vague, and quite frankly, that's the point. The fact of the matter is, there are certain views and beliefs that don't mesh well together, especially when some of those views and beliefs are against lifestyles that I have to live with. And yeah, that sounds so bad. I'm not upset at all with anything going on in this regard as far as my kids. But if somebody else were to come in and say, no, you're wrong for letting that happen, I would flip my lid, to be honest, because it's none of their business. And just from a generalization standpoint, and yes, generalizations are wrong. I'm not perfect. But from just that standpoint, I have to say, no, your viewpoints are not embraced or welcome here. It's difficult enough as it is, because I have a lot of family members that are conservative, and they do have issues with certain things that happen. But at the end of the day, they're not the ones that have to live the life. They're not the ones that have to wake up every day happy with who they are. Well, I guess they are, but they don't have the right to make the people that I want happy to be less happy. That's just my opinion. Again, I'm not saying that I'm, super ultra liberal man. I'm just saying number one priority, as I stated before, my kids. And if anybody has a problem with that, then they're not welcome. Period. And speaking of kids, one of the next things that I immediately go, no, is people that post pictures of their children in their dating profiles. It's cool. It's cool that you have kids. I get it. Not against dating anybody with kids, after all. I said I have 3, but I'm not going to put their pictures on a website that's designed for horny people to look for other horny people. Yes, another generalization. Sorry, not perfect. But the idea is you're wanting to attract somebody. And maybe it's just me, but seeing somebody's kids and thinking, wow, there are a lot of freaking weirdos here. Why would you put your kids on Front Street like that? That's mind-blowing to me. And I don't get it. There are so many places in your profile. I don't even really think it matters what service you use. There's generally something there that's like, do you have kids? Yes. Do you want to describe your kids? Here's a place to describe them. You don't need a picture of your children. So that's, I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, after all, who would want somebody going, I like this picture. Look at those kids. That just freaks me out just thinking about it. And there are going to be some people that do that. And you better hope that your filter, when you see these people coming across your feed, you better hope the filter is good. Because a lot of these apps give you information like, this person is such and such miles away. And quite frankly, just a little tangential note. There was somebody that sent me a message on one of the dating apps that was like, hey, handsome. I'm like, hey, that's me. They're messaging me with this message. How about that? And then I look at the profile and I'm like, oh, First of all, I'm ideologically completely opposite of everything that I am, which happens a lot. When it comes to the people that like me on these sites, it's always people that have the exact opposite viewpoints of me. And I'm thinking to myself, what about my profile says that we would click? And a lot of them, you have access to things that you're into, whether it's music, movies, or like humanitarian interests. And I have very clearly, especially on this specific one, a LGBTQ plus ally sticker. Because I'm an ally, and so I have this sticker on there, and they're for whatever it's worth, they're the exact opposite of somebody that would be an ally. And they send me a message, and they're like, "Hey, handsome." Like, huh? Okay. Well, I looked at the profile, and then I messaged Brandon from the podcast. You know Brandon, and I don't know how he did it, but he sends me this link to their Facebook profile, and he's like, "Yeah, you don't want to have anything to do with this person." I'm like, "Well, yeah, I kind of figured that already." But he's like, "No, read." And I'm like, "Okay." So I go to this person's profile, and I'm reading, and I'm like, "Yep, conspiracy theories, yeah, crazy, on top of crazy, yeah, that's awesome. Wait a second, this person's married." And not like married separated, but married, they're loving the time that they're spending with their husband within the last few days. Not to mention, the the kind of cute pic was apparently years and years old, and they, again, not trying to shame somebody because of their body changes, but that was like 200 pounds ago, and they're like, "That's the current pick." And like, oh, okay. I mean, it was already no ideologically. And they're saying, "That's the husband." And I'm like, "Ew. This person's just firing on all cylinders. Anti-gay, pro adultery." Huh. At least that's kind of the assumption. I hope that's the case, because otherwise it's trying to bring me into this tripod situation that I'm not down with. Again, poly people are cool if that's what you're into. Me, I remember growing up in the 80s and 90s, and people freaking out. If you sleep with more than one person, well, you're just a slut. It's like, yeah. And AIDS. I was like, oh, AIDS. Yes, that's bad. Okay, fine. Monogamy's cool. And it's just kind of in my mindset since I'm the kind of person that doesn't think monogamy is just a type of wood. You get what I'm saying there? But yeah, he found the profile, and then the idea that somebody can put their kids' pictures on their profile that can be found. People can find you, because he found this person. He found their address. He found their voting records just from a first name and a picture. It was kind of cool, but really scary at the same time. Not gonna lie, that was, again, cool, but scary. So that's why when it comes to putting pictures of your kids, for me, that shows me a little bit of maybe poor decision making. Just maybe just a tad. I don't remember what number I'm on now, so I'm just going to keep going like I don't know. Alcohol. I don't see anything wrong with having a drink. I'm known to have a drink, once, twice a year. No problem with it. But when you have an abundance of pictures on your profile, and most, if not all of them, feature you with alcohol of any kind, that could be the sign of a problem. I know I don't have the stamina I used to. I'm 39 years old, people. No, I'm not an old man, but damn it, I'm not a young man either. I'm right there in the middle. So to me, when you have all of these pictures of yourself in the bar, or with all these bottles, or with all these glasses, it makes me think that's a lifestyle that I'm expected to keep up with. And quite frankly, I don't want to. My idea of a perfect night has always been sit at home with the kids. And every once in a while, would it be cool to go out and do something? Yeah, but the abundance of these pictures, these photos of you going, look at me, I love my drink. I can't do it. I can't keep up with that. It's impossible for me. You want a drinking buddy? Cool. But I'm going to pass. And quite frankly, if you're just joining us, this is kind of we're going over the things that I personally pass on when it comes to, whether or not you swipe left, swipe right. These are my personal philosophies when it comes to the things that you see on someone's profile. So moving on, no profile. How am I supposed to swipe either way if there's nothing there? No, what I'm saying is, if somebody just posts a picture and it just has the bare minimal, information like, this is Tanya. She is 35 years old and located in city, but there's nothing there. There's no effort to say anything about yourself. So that's a red flag for me, because it either means okay, this person could be fake, a bot. I had a few of those in my day. Hey, how's it going? Oh, pretty good. How's life? I just said it's pretty good. How are you? Oh, but I don't want to pay for premium, so message me on WhatsApp. But we're messaging each other now. But I use WhatsApp. It's like, but we're here. It's a thing we're doing at the... Oh, I get it. You're fake. Either a bot or a scammer, or a scammer bot. And it's disappointing, especially because and considering, maybe my girth, my size, that could definitely be a turnoff to a lot of ladies. And that's fine. That's fine. And I'm talking about my weight, people. Let's not, get low here with our minds. I get it. But I don't think I'm a dog. See my picture right up 10. That's the one that I use for the sites. I don't think I'm ugly. I don't. But when somebody that is very attractive, and I mean like very attractive, is like, hey you, and I'm left like looking around like, what, me? Like, yeah, like, okay, something's up here. And more often than not, it's, we should talk on WhatsApp. I'm like, oh, damn you. Why did I even bother getting my hopes up? And again, don't want to sound like a desperate, lonely guy because I'm cool. Life is good generally. It's got its nitpicky parts. That's why I have a podcast about life. If it was all peaches and cream, there'd be nothing to talk about. But anyway, if you're not willing to share even the most basic of information about the things you like or the person you are, that's an automatic disqualifier for me. If you have the space, use it. I don't need a book, don't need a novel, just a little bit that says, this is kind of who I am. And I'm not sure what irritates me more, the people with blank bios or the ones that say, ask me and find out. Ask you and find out? Now I really don't care. You're making me take extra steps for the privilege of finding out about you. Now, personally, when it comes to my profile, I will toss out a few bits of information out there, and I let people know I'm a parent and my interests, and a few of them. I'd leave enough to warrant questions. I'm not going to break it all down in a profile. I leave the door open for someone to go, oh, what's it like being the dad of a teenager? Well, here's what it's like, and just leaving some sort of way for conversation to be started. But nobody's asked yet. That's But then again, I have like literally a 98% rejection rate of the profiles I see, and I don't know if that's a me problem. I know there are some people out there that just go right for everybody, heart, right. They don't care. It's a lot. It's a numbers game for a lot of people, and it seems to work for them. I can't argue with the results where I'm more of a does this person meet my criteria? And I hate to phrase it like that, but yeah, basically imagine you're looking at a menu would not be completely accurate because when you when you read from a menu, the food doesn't go, nah, I'm not going to that table. So I don't know exactly what the appropriate metaphor would be, but when you're going through people's profiles and you're trying to make your selection of who do you want to connect with, I do have more of a long-term investment in mind. Again, I'm pretty sure if I put it in my mind to go for a hookup. It shouldn't be too difficult. But I don't have that programmed inside me. So what I wind up doing is being very picky. I guess that's what it breaks down to. I'm super picky. And if somebody out there is listening that has seen this picture that liked your profile, then please know that if I hit like on your profile, it took a considerable amount of thought. Because the first thing that comes to mind is meeting all of these arbitrary rules that I've set up to make me like something. Maybe I'm just getting in my own way. Maybe I am setting the bar too high. Or maybe I'm not actually looking for something at all. Maybe this is just all a bit of self-sabotage to ensure that the only change that comes from life is none. Keep everything the same. But I have often said to people when they ask me, how come you've been single for such and such amount of years? I say, look, I know what my life is. I'm happy with it. I'm trying very hard to be something more than I am. Being a more professional writer, as in get paid more to do it. Maybe do a little bit more acting. I would love to move on from my day-to-day grind. But at the end of the day, with the way everything is right now, I understand the amount of baggage I bring to the table. I mean, just from being a single parent alone, that's a lot to soak in. Especially three very wonderful, amazing, frustrating children. I know it can be a handful. And I know I don't make a ton of money. So it's always a matter of, will I have enough for this? Will I have enough for that? Decisions have to be made. Compromises have to be made. Time has to be given. But only when it's available. So if I'm going to be sinking my time, by the way, the one thing in this world that you cannot get back, I guess that your virginity, but I don't know, something about stones that bring that. I don't know. If I'm going to be giving somebody my time, they also have to be aware of the investment they would be making with theirs. Because relationships are a two-way street. No matter how old the relationship is. Whether you've been together a day or 20 years. You have to keep each other's time in mind. Because even if you've been together for 50 years, if you find yourself with your time being wasted, something has to change because you're not going to get back. I wouldn't mind having somebody to share my time with. I wouldn't mind having somebody that would, think Supernatural, the TV show, is pretty cool because I got kids. I love it. Now they're in Criminal Minds. I don't get it. But maybe it's Thomas Gibson. I don't know. Okay, I'm, let's see, moving on. Not a fan if you celebrate your drug use with your dating profile. Again, that's not me judging you because you want to put it out there that you want somebody to share in your, vices. I guess, is that the appropriate word? Sure. You want to find somebody that thinks similarly. And that's completely cool for you, but it's a no for me, dog. I'm not going to get up, in like some sort of high and mighty, chair and look down my nose on people. But quite frankly, I've already had to and still have to deal with people with addiction issues in my life. And quite frankly, I don't want to add on to that. Period. But if that's what you're into, cool. That is awesome. And I hope you find somebody that will enjoy and partake in all of the things that you do. But I'll be moving on to the next person. Okay, this one's going to be a little controversial. Super sexy photos. I can't believe I wrote that down like that. Especially, you know what? I'll get to that part in a second. Super sexy photos. Yes, you're supposed to be attracting people. That's the point, right? And you're going to want to put up some, attractive photos. Okay. I mean, I'm not going to buy it, but I'm sure somebody will be like, "Oh yeah." I'm not into false modesty, and I'm not into, somebody trying to or needing to act like a nun to get my attention, because quite frankly, I'm cool with the opposite. That's fine. It's weird. I don't remember who said it, but it was something about I can't define pornography, but I'll know it when I see it or something like that. And it's really on a case by case basis, because there are, I can't believe I'm going to put this out there. There are profile photos that I've seen just of a face or whatever. And the person can have like this really interesting smirk and like this slightest hint of a sparkle in the eye, and you're like, okay, that is sexy. That's cool. All about that. But when it comes to provocative lingerie pictures, I'm just thinking maybe you're overselling yourself, and it's being used to, I don't know, cover up for something. it really screams, I'm trying. And again, good on you. I'm gonna have to add a disclaimer. It's like, I'm not trying to be a judgmental dick here. I'm just throwing this out there. These are the things that I see when I see these dating sites. So, there's a fine line. My opinion. Yes, all of this is just my opinion. But I understand why somebody would be like, I'm going to put up some sexy photos on my dating profile. But you know what really gets me are the ones, okay, and I've seen this numerous times. First profile picture. You know, you get a photo of someone that's trying to be really sexy. Not body shaming at all, but when somebody is, rather plus size and their clothes are in like a medium range and you see things, in lines that are not supposed to be there, you're like, okay, I guess that's supposed to be the sexy photo. Sorry about that. Next picture. You see them hanging out in the bar. And you're like, okay. They love going out. That's cool, I guess. And then you see the next photo. It's like their kids. And you're like, uh-huh. And then you see like a picture of Jesus. It's like, wow, this person has quite a busy life. Kids, parties, church. I don't know if I can keep up with that. No lie, I've seen it all in one picture before. And it scared the hell out of me. Now, I'm not, let's see, I don't remember where I am on the notes here, but essentially what it really boils down to is when I see somebody's profile, I want to see some interests. I want to see some decent, this is my life kind of photos, nothing really posed. I will definitely reject, swipe left, whatever you want to call it. If you look like you're made up to take these photos, I'm not into that. I'm like natural beauty and makeup's cool and all, but I'm not into the overproduction of it. There are some beautiful ladies out there that really think that putting on your face is a requirement for daily life, and good on them for feeling empowered and maybe even more powerful for being able to put these materials on and feel this way. I'm not one of those people that finds it more attractive. And we can all like different things. It's all good. Again, the whole point of this is not to shame individual people that may or may not do these things, because whatever gets you what you want is all that matters when it comes to relationships. But make sure it's what you want. You know what they say, dress for the job you want, not for the job you have. Now, I've in the interest of this episode, of course, created quite a few profiles on basically whatever will let me do it for free. And I found a lot of problematic situations with virtually all of them. I'm not I'm not really into paying for premium memberships just to see who likes you. Because I already put the work in to create the profile that makes them want to like me, right? I did that. You didn't do that. I did that. So if somebody is like, if somebody's paying attention to that, if somebody's paying attention to the profile that I put together to get their attention, I would like to know who that person is. Now, I feel it's important to make a very important distinction here. I'm sorry about knocking around the mic, but, passion. A very important distinction to me is this. Being able to see who sees you versus seeing who likes you. I think putting people that look at your profile behind a paywall is fine. Somebody sees your profile, they don't hit like, maybe it's okay that they, remain somewhat anonymous unless you pay. But if somebody wants to make the effort to say, you know what, I like you, I would like the option to look at their profile and say, hey, you know what, I like you too. And honestly, it seems very detrimental to the whole process of, well, unless you're paying, you're not going to get a match. We are going to hold this match hostage because we are big dating. Blah, 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 blah. My goodness. Or messages behind a paywall. Messages. Like I already said before, it's easy to track down people. If you got half the information, if you can look at a clear picture, you can find the person. Because fun fact that I might have just made up, most people that have these profiles will use their Facebook photos. I mean, after all, they want to put their best face not only on Facebook, but on the thing that's going to gather people's attention. So, good chance the pictures are one and the same. So, it's easy to get around these things, but unless you know that they're into it, I really would not recommend trying to find somebody outside of the dating app, because if they wanted to find somebody outside, no, keep it there. I mean, honestly, the most upsetting thing about the beautiful women sending the messages like, hey, handsome, let's suck on WhatsApp. I'm like, they offer us messaging here, let's use it. Or, hey, how about follow me on Twitter? Yeah. Bump my numbers up, and you get to slide into my DMs. That's cool, right? But yeah, I know these things are companies, whether it's Bumble, Plenty of Fish, and Match, eHarmony, whatever it is. They have the right to be in business. There are some things that are counterintuitive when it comes to being able to make matches, though. Let's see, not a fan of any of them, to be honest. Although, I guess if I had to pick two, say somebody gave me the power to get rid of all dating apps minus two, I think I would get rid of everything except Bumble. Bumble, again, has the issue of locking pretty much everything behind a paywall, but this one leaves contact to the ladies, if I'm not mistaken. The ladies have to make first contact. I guess that lowers the number of unwanted D pics, because I don't think anything will ever make it completely go away. But yeah, ladies have to make the first move, and that's I heard about it on the Judge John Hodgman podcast. Some of the people in there were like, "Yeah, this is how we met." Really? They have a thing where the rule is the ladies have to make the first. Okay, that that sounds actually pretty cool. Okay, so I'm gonna sign up for that. Yeah, so I did, and yep, that's a thing. The other one, probably one of the newer ones to the game, I'm gonna say Facebook. It is. It's not the best, but it does offer some interesting features because it's tied to Facebook. You know that thing where you put all your personal information? And so imagine that you don't really have to do a whole lot of filling stuff out. You just plug it in. There it is. And apparently messages are free and everything's free. You don't really have to pay for anything. Free is good, especially when it comes to something that you have to have an already created profile for, as in Facebook. Now, there are a lot of free dating apps that, even though I said paying for all that crap sucks, one of the good things about these things being behind a paywall is the fact that you don't get as many bots or scammers messaging you and trying to get your personal information, trying to get your money. And that's paying for security, essentially. You're basically, with your membership, putting a bouncer at the door saying, "Oh, you're a bot, get out." Free profiles. Anywhere somebody can create something for free and scam you out of money. If that can be gotten rid of, that there is nothing more abhorrent to me than somebody that would take advantage of a lonely heart. Okay, there are definitely more abhorrent things in the world, but just the idea that somebody's out there and they're like, "Let me take advantage of lonely people," that's just sickening. But at the end of the day, when it comes to meeting people, apps, sites, in theory, are not bad. And I'm fairly positive that a lot of great relationships have gotten started from people that meet online. It's no longer a, I guess, a taboo subject. Where did you meet? I'll say we met at a bar. No. I don't need you to say we met at a bar. We can say we met on Bumble. I'm not ashamed. How did you meet? I created a badass profile. And she fell for it. That's how we met. There's no reason to be ashamed when you meet somebody that you wind up dating on a website or an app. It's fine. Because there are people like me out here that don't like to go to bars. I said before, I drink a couple times a year. It's not my bag. The only time you'll find me in a bar generally is to see either somebody I know perform with their band or essentially just people in a band. It's the only reason I go to a bar, to see a band. I don't like to go many places that people would traditionally gather and mingle. I like to go to conventions every once in a while. I enjoy the library, bookstores, a good restaurant. But here's the thing. When it comes to a lot of these places, I don't find myself going there to meet people. I don't go to a wrestling event going, who am I going to meet here? When I go someplace, it's generally with the purpose of enjoying that thing that I'm going to do. There are a lot of people out there that can go to these places with the idea of flirtation and hooking up and doing whatever it is that people do to attract people. I'm a little more singularly focused, I guess. I mean, my kids are now only like just now getting to the age where I'm like, okay, I can leave you out here for a couple hours and it'll all be good. And maybe eventually I will. Never been a fan of babysitters. Leaving my kids with somebody else's kid just seems weird. But I know it's a completely normal thing. It's something people do a lot. But again, I know I'm weird in that regard. And I know I'm weird in a lot of regards. I know I'm weird for having so many rules and criteria for wanting to be attracted to somebody's profile. And that's why I have a 98% rejection rate for the profiles I see. I have a 99% rejection rate for the people that approve of my profile. Because quite frankly, I take a look at them and I go, oh, they seem nice. The ones that I approve. And the ones that I want to approve, I'm like, okay, what's wrong with you? No, I'm completely honest here. I will definitely not like somebody's profile if they're too pretty. It's true. But you're discriminating against beautiful people. No, I don't think so. I think I am saving them. Not that I'm guaranteeing they'd be into. The point is, it's like, oh, you look like you have dreams, you have goals, and you have aspirations. You're standing in front of the Eiffel Tower. Look at you go. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, I get in the way of a lot of stuff for you. So let's move along. Let them continue to fly and be free. But yeah, too pretty. Can't have that. I know what my limitations are. I'm realistic. But did I just insult a lot of people that I do like? I don't know. So whatever you decide to do when it comes to dating, especially when it comes to these sites, think about what you want. Always keep that in mind. That is the first and most important thing. What do you want? If you're the type of person that wants to just find somebody with a good haircut and some nice abs, you'll be able to find it. It's there. If you want somebody that's into books, literature, art, you'll be able to find it. It's there. And it'll save you a lot of time of actually having to go out and look for it because you're given basically a menu to choose from. But of course, just because you like something doesn't mean they're going to like you back. And that's the truth. I'm not a fan of these things, but I understand why they're necessary. And I understand why, if I personally am going to meet somebody because my lifestyle does not behoove going out and being social, then this is the path that I've chosen. And it's the same truth for a lot of different people. Wow, I have gone on for an hour. Last show was like 18 minutes. Here we are, an hour later. Well, things are going to get a little hectic over the next few days. For me, we're recording, well, should I say broadcasting, the latest episode of the Wadcast tonight because we had to reschedule for Friday. Brandon was on call, and starting this week, I'm going to be going back to work with the kiddos, doing my day job thing. But in the meantime, if you like what you hear, you can always listen to more shows from the Semi-Core Studios here. No, Kevin Smith's not involved. It's just he had that expression with his hands out, and I was like, hey, Kevin Smith. He's like telling everybody to listen. Please don't sue me, Kevin Smith. And other than that, you can always reach me at Skate Comic. It says right there. Oh, the Patreon. The Patreon is up. It's up and running. There we go. Patreon.com/Semicore. If you want to donate $1 a month, cool. If you want to do $5 a month, awesome. That would be really appreciated. We have all sorts of tiers, a few rewards-ish, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how to plug these things. Why? Because I've never used them before. But if you find it in your heart that you want to donate to the cause, that is me running Semi-Core Studios, then by all means go to the patreon.com/Semicore. Also, if you like stuff and you want to buy stuff, there is tpublic.com/Semicore, where we have all the latest and greatest Semi-Core Studios shirts and merch available for you to buy. That's right. There isn't a Josh's World shirt yet, but you can buy Wadcast paraphernalia as well as Matt and Josh make lists and just your regular old run-of-the-mill Semi-Core Studios merchandise. While you're out searching the internet for these things that I'm sending you on a wild chase for, I don't know. I got tired. It's been a day. If you're already online, go to facebook.com/something. I don't know. I just had it. Oh, there. Facebook.com/The Wadcast, Facebook.com/Semi-Core Studios. Give them a like. You'll be able to listen live, whatever you want. However you're listening now, hit the subscribe button. Why not? Do it. Isn't it funny? I could just ramble on and on about all sorts of crazy nonsense for an hour. But when it comes to doing the thing that I do every week by promoting, Facebook pages and Twitters and all this, suddenly I'm all blah, 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 blah. No, crap. Just Semi-Core Studios, Facebook, Twitter, follow it, write a review, let people know that I'm a rambling moron, that I'm here to make you chuckle on occasion and hopefully make you think just a little bit. But when it comes to me and my world, I just try to put out there what I think, how I feel. And that's what the show is. This is Josh's world.